I read a lot of books this year. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be doing a reading wrap. So I'm just going to give a little bit of stats right now. So I read 20 books. I'm currently on my 21st book of the year. And I think I might read 24 by the end of the year, but I just wanted to get this video out because I feel like it's really fun to watch, especially during like Christmas time in December. Okay, let's get into the stats. So I read 9 romances this year, 3 thrillers, 3 fiction, I read 5 fantasies, and 1 memoir. I also did film like basically halfway through the year the books that I've read from January to May, so I'm just gonna quickly fly through these books. I didn't read a lot during that time. First book I read was Fifth Wave. I gave it 3 stars. I thought it was kind of interesting in some parts, but I was kind of losing it in the end, and I thought the ending sucked. So I don't know if I'd recommend it. And then I read Kingdom of Sweets. This is a Nutcracker retelling. It was very dark, and I was not expecting that. I thought it was going to be fun, like a nice, you know, some thrillers can be light and cozy. I thought that was what it's going to be, but this was a lot darker than I thought. So I gave it 3 stars. The next book I read was The Woman in Me. I loved it. I thought it gave me a lot of insight towards Britney Spears' life. I feel like she has been through a lot, and I'm wishing her the best, and I hope she's relaxing right now. You can't really write a memoir, so, but I'm gonna give it 5 stars. The next book I read was Chalice of the Gods by Percy Jackson. This was an automatic 5-star because it's so nostalgic for me. This is one of my favorite, if not favorite, series of all time. Then I read Beach Read by Emily Henry. I gave this 5 stars, I'm pretty sure. I thought it was really interesting, the dynamic of the characters, and I feel like anytime Emily Henry writes a romance book, I feel like there's this deep emotional connection, which I love, and I feel like it's not just sunshine and rainbows, because that's unrealistic and I don't like that. The next book I read was The Midnight Library. I'm gonna give this 4 stars. I originally gave it 3 stars, but I thought the premise was really interesting. It's about just like how your life, how one decision can change your life so drastically, and this person ends up going into this like other world, not even other world, they go into like a heaven-like place where they get to pick all these different lives that they could be in. I thought that was really interesting, but it's really depressing in the start, like extremely depressing, and I didn't know if I could get through this book because it was that sad. But it does have an optimistic twist at the end, and I like that. Love Theoretically. This book I gave 4 stars, and I honestly agree with that. I feel like out of all of Ali Hazelwood's book, I like Love on the Brain the most, but that also could just be because I read it the most recently. If you love a nerdy romance, you love science, I feel like her books are the perfect books to read. However, there are some spicier scenes, so if you are a younger person or you just don't like that, or stay away from this. Never been a natural. So the next book I read was Funny Story. This book was amazing, 5 stars. Probably my most favorite Emily Henry book. I feel like the story was amazing. I feel like the girl was navigating a lot of her own personal struggles and had a lot of personal growth in finding herself. It wasn't just about, I found a guy and I'm in love. I felt like she needed to grow a lot, and she did, and that's why she found a love so good, so I really appreciated that. This is when I started using Goodreads, actually. So it says, Emily never misses. Love the personal growth of a female lead. Then the book I read after that was The Love Hypothesis. This is another Ali Hazelwood book, another nerdy romance. This is about a PhD candidate. I think she's a biologist, yes. And she starts falling for the young professor. Also, this one has a little bit of spice, so be aware. But yeah, it was just like a good distraction, something that was nice to read and distract myself, because I also knew I was going to start reading a fantasy world next, and I knew that there was a lot of world building, so I just wanted to read something a little bit lighter before I got into it. Fourth Wing. Sorry, I think this book took me a month to read, if I'm being honest. It took a bit to get into. This would be a 4.5 in my opinion. There were some annoying parts that I just remember just being annoyed with the main character, the lead, Violet, because I'm like, girl, why aren't you in love with him? And I thought that the world was really interesting. It's about dragons, and it's kind of like if Dragons meets Hogwarts meets Dauntless from Divergent, if that makes any sense. It's a very cool world to be into, and I also thought that her found family was really nice. There's a death in this end of this book though that literally shook me to my core. I'm not gonna say who, but I was sobbing. So then I read Just for the Summer. This is my first Abby Jimenez book I ever read, and I was hooked. I know that this book is technically a part of a 3-book series called Part of Your World, but it's like a series that there's characters that overlap, but it's not like you need to read the first book first. So, but this book is probably the book I loved the most out of any other book I've read this year. It is a 6-star. Definitely left a review for this one. The best book I read in a long time. Also YA, which is nice because the spice was low. I'm pretty sure the spice was non-existent, if I'm being honest. The story was so real, so beautiful. I have a book hangover. I feel like I need to read some love story as good as this. 6 stars, one of my top books of the year. Yeah. I loved the found family aspect for Emma. I loved how Justin was so nurturing and how Justin was navigating some stuff with his family. I think that there was a lot of other family issues that have happened, and it was just good to see them like fall in love with each other but also help each other. Ugh, it's just so good. It's such a good book. I cannot recommend it enough. Shania, watching this, which I know you are, read the freaking book because she has it. Y'all, so good. Then I read Carrie Soto's Back. I have not read a lot of Taylor Jenkins Reid's books because because Daisy Jones, it hit. Daisy Jones is one of my favorite books of all time. This one is about tennis, so it was a little bit harder to get into because I don't play tennis, so there's like a lot of terms that I didn't know. I give this a 4-star. It was surprisingly really good. I loved the sense of overcoming, or there's like kind of a coming of age vibe to this book, and I really appreciated that. I felt like it was really good. I feel like this character had a lot of growth, and I loved that. I feel like there were some lessons in it about winning and losing. So yeah. And also there's a really nice family aspect to it. Overall, I just feel like it was amazing. Then I came back from vacation and I could start Iron Flame. Man, guys, I'm gonna be honest. Maybe because I had a gap from after Fourth Wing and I didn't read Iron Flame right away. I thought this was kind of mid. I gave it 4 stars. Like, I don't know. It's just like, I felt like the same plot was happening every chapter where Violet didn't trust the guy and he was like, please trust me, please let me show you that I love you and you can trust me, all this stuff, and she just didn't. So I was like, girl, get it together. But the last like 100 pages, I was sad. Like, in the final plot twist at the end has me, that I was like thinking it was gonna be 3-star until the very end, and then I'm like, that's a 4-star because that plot twist I was not expecting. Well, it kind of was in the last like 20 pages. We'll be reading the next book, and hopefully the next book has a lot more twists and turns. Then I had to do it to him. If you watch Haley Pham vlogs and watch her book content, you know this is her like favorite book of all time. And I was like, you know what? I want to read something that's cute. I want to read a YA romance. I want to read something appropriate. So I read this. I gave it 4 stars. I don't think it was a 5-star for me, but I thought it was really cute. I really liked the references to romantic movies because I've watched a lot of them, so I thought that was really cute. But yeah, it was just like a cute high school romance that every girl wishes they had. Then I read Love on the Brain. This is probably my favorite Ali Hazelwood book. I gave this book 5 stars. First off, one thing about me, I love NASA. I went there as a kid. I was obsessed with space. I wanted to be an astronaut at one point, and then I realized I wasn't smart enough. But I still love it nonetheless. And reading about these 2 NASA scientists, one's a neuroscientist, which I love neuro. I took neuro in university. Everything was just like what I love. So it was amazing. Yeah, it was just a really cute book. It was a fluffy romance. I felt like there was a little bit more emotional depth because you're learning this girl, she has to like build up her confidence again. She had a toxic ex who made her realize or made her feel bad about herself, so she's like trying to rebuild her confidence, and this guy, he really helps her also rebuild the confidence while she also does it herself. I just like that balance because I feel like it's unrealistic for you relying on this one person to make yourself better when you should better yourself. So I really like that. And sorry guys, I keep looking at my phone because I'm on Goodreads right now. Then I was like, it's coming fall time, it's time to read some scary books. Good Girl, Bad Blood. This is the second book of the Good Girl's Guide to Murder series. I've watched the Good Girl's Guide to Murder TV show and I loved it. I watched it with my friend and I was like, this is spooky. I forgot how good this book was because I read that book in like 2022. So then I bought this book at the like at a random thrift store for like $5. I gave it 4 stars. I thought it was really interesting. I could not figure out what happened. There was another crime that happened, but I could not figure out like what happened, because you know sometimes you can predict it. I feel like for this author I can never predict it. I have no idea what's gonna happen. Okay, awkward. I thought it took me way faster than that. Another thing, like the author puts photos of like the proof in it, and there's also like a podcast element. Like there's photos of the evidence that the girl finds. Then I was like, I need to finish the Just for the Summer series because I'm craving an Abby Jimenez book. She writes books for those girls who have avoidant attachment, who are afraid to feel deep in their relationship. So I read Part of Your World and Yours Truly. At this time, I also decided I'm writing a book. So I started annotating because I want my characters to be more emotionally complex. So I annotated this one. This is the first book I've annotated since high school. This book, 5 stars. It's basically like friends with benefits. This girl is afraid to love because she was in a really bad relationship before. This guy is way younger than her. He's 10 years younger than her, or 9, and I thought that was really interesting. She's really successful. They lived very different lives, and I thought that was really cool, seeing them navigate and decide what they were gonna do. I felt like it was amazing. No complaints. I love a good small town romance. Then I read Yours Truly. This book offered me a really unique perspective about a guy having anxiety. I feel like normally if I am reading about anxiety, it's the girl. This male character, Jacob, has really bad anxiety, and just seeing how, first off, he feels and how he's going through this anxiety, and just seeing how patient the girl character, Brianna, was with dealing with it, and just like them working towards bettering each other. Brianna, the girl character, had a lot of her own insecurities. She was avoiding feeling because she just like had another past before, and she just like doesn't want to feel the way she feels. Yeah, and I just like this guy is willing to do anything for her to show her that like she can trust him, kind of thing. Also, this has fake dating in it. From this whole series, Part of Your World series, Part of Your World, Yours Truly, and Just for the Summer, it has to do with a little bit of medical field vibes as well, because either the characters are ER doctors, surgeons, or they're travel nurses. So I thought that was really interesting. And I don't know if I said I gave this 5 stars as well. I feel like having a guy lead with anxiety was really, I don't know, eye-opening. I know it's not that profound, like everyone has anxiety, but I just thought that was such a unique perspective. And then I read The Kind Worth Saving. This is a spooky book, Spooky Ooky. This is the second book of the Kind Worth Killing series. I read this last year and I really liked it. I was shook. I felt like every time I was like, I know what's going to happen, I didn't. But one thing about Peter Swanson, his books are creepy AF. They're so creepy. I was like, I was shaking in my boots, like for real. This book, it took me a little bit to get into, but once I was in it, yeah, like this is dark. If you don't like murder and stuff, not saying anyone likes murder, but if you find like thrillers interesting, then I think you'd like this. But it's a little bit crazy, and I remember being like, yo, that's whack. So I was like really wanting to read something light and fluffy after this, but then I was also like, I need to read Normal People because I watched Gladiator, and I was like, Yo, I'm obsessed with Paul Mescal, and I really want to watch the TV show, and I will only let myself watch the TV show if I read the book. This book is 5 stars. But not in the ways you think it is. For people who think this is a love story, it ain't. This is just like normal people being in this toxic relationship, experiences difference in class. I don't know. And it's honestly like it was pretty easy to read, except there's no quotation marks. Okay, I'm gonna read my friend's comment on this book. Shout out to Julia.
Everyone give Julia a hype message because she won the giveaway.
She says, Connell and Marianne's inability to adequately communicate was frustrating yet realistic. Some days I was really into the book, and other days I could have cared less about it. I also found it hard to follow sometimes since there's no quotations for dialogue at all during this read, as well as the storyline got confusing once in a while. Yeah, so they like flip-flop timelines a lot of the time, but I found it pretty easy to follow that because it would just be like 3 months later, or like you just knew it was in the past because they would be pretty the grammar. But also too, they flip-flop perspectives, so like you kind of have to be paying attention when reading. Like, this book is so realistic. It was crazy. Don't read this if you're young though, because there are some spice in it. Those are the books I've read in 2024, and I'm currently reading ACOTAR. I am about 15% through the book. Also peep this bookmark my sister got me. Is that smut? It's Jesus. I also got a Kindle for Christmas. I cannot wait. I've been really wanting to read this when I'm on or use this when I'm on vacation, because I really want to save a lot of room in my luggage. But yeah, I read it with this last night in dark mode, and I really enjoyed it. I thought maybe the screen would hurt my eyes, but it being in dark mode and adjusting the brightness, it was great to read with. I am considering getting Kindle Unlimited. I don't know though. Anyway, back to ACOTAR. I'm in the early stages of the world building. There's still some stuff that I need to understand. I do find it interesting, but I'm not 100% hooked yet, I would say. But yeah, I'm excited for this world. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoyed my reading wrapped. Comment down below your most favorite read of 2024, because I'm really inspired. I love hearing from you guys. I love hearing your opinions. And yeah, have a blessed day. Bye guys.